Hi guys, let's go ahead and make some homemade dog food. That noise you hear is Bindi eating up the last like half a cup for breakfast, and I need to make her some more. I'm whispering because it's like 7 o'clock in the morning and no one else is awake, so. Like, I make my own hamster food. I basically calculated out all of the protein, carbs, fat, the amount of vegetables that you would need, and like any supplements and whatnot. And yeah, this is what I've come up with. So what I do is my dad goes out and kills deer for me, and then I grind it up and I package it in 2-pound bags and I freeze it. I have like 2 or 3 deer in the freezer right now. Venison is really good for dogs, only when it's cooked. I wouldn't recommend feeding it to them raw if your dog does a raw diet, because you have to worry about like parasites and chronic wasting disease and like all that kind of stuff. But so it's like really low in fat, which is good for dogs that have pancreatitis problems and just like need to be on a low fat diet, and also it's just really healthy. So that's the meat that I use. Like I said, I use 2 pounds of ground meat. And then for her healthy fat, I use coconut oil. I'm almost out of this. I just bought another one. I do like about 1/4 cup of coconut oil, and then you cook the meat, and then you add in all of the veggies. And it's better to use like fresh vegetables, but I do use some frozen veggies sometimes, especially because like in the winter you have cheaper and more options in the freezer section. So, but I always like to throw in like a fresh apple, a can of pumpkin puree, and then for her carbs I'm doing oats at the time, because we have just like a huge amount of oats that I need to use up. You can also use like brown rice is really good. But yeah, so anyway, let's get to it. So you're gonna need a pot, and based on the amount of oats that I do, this is the size pot that I need. Big old stock pot, because your oats expand, so you gotta account for that. When I was first making this, I made like 1 pound of meat, so it was basically half the recipe, and I could use just like a big pot, not like a big stock pot. But for 2 pounds, this is what I use. Go ahead and get that pot heating up on medium heat. Since it's literally like 60 degrees in my house, I'm gonna have to chip away at this coconut oil. Like in the summer, because it's like half liquid and so easy to get out of the container, but in the winter it's a little bit harder. Also, please ignore how I look. I worked for the past 2 days and I literally just got out of bed, so yeah. Get that oil to melt. Coconut oil melts like really fast, has a really low melting point. I always let her lick the spoon as well. She's like, why are you filming me, you freak? I like to take this out like a day before I have to make the actual food, because since I freeze it, it takes like a whole day to thaw. If say like she gets out of food in the morning, like I feed her all the last food for breakfast, you can take it out on the counter and just leave it out all day, and it should be thawed enough that you can cook it for dinner. But this is what I like to do. So this was in the fridge. We're just gonna add this to our oil. Blood and all. And you basically cook it like you're just browning like ground beef and stuff. Okay, while the meat cooks, I'm going to show you all of the other ingredients that I use. So I use a whole can of just 100% pumpkin. Do not get pumpkin pie mix. It has like seasonings and stuff that dogs should not be eating. You just need 100% pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie. The best thing that you can do is like roast a pumpkin yourself, but if it's not fall and you can't really find pumpkins anywhere, this is gonna be your best bet. So, and then for vegetables, it differs from week to week whenever I make this, but I like to buy stuff in bulk and just keep it in my freezer. So I found this blend recently. This is beets, carrots, sweet potato, and parsnips, and then she needs a green. So she really likes green beans, so I do green beans in these. And then I also do some baby food, so let me show you. So this is my baby food collection. Just like fruit and veggie purees, like this is apple and spinach, banana, pear, sweet potato, stuff like that. I take it and I freeze it, and then I just like put it in a Ziploc bag. This is my bag, and I like pick 2, sometimes 3 if they're small, different flavors, and kind of just add them in there. And as it falls, it kind of mixes in and just gives it more flavor and some more nutrients. So sometimes I do different vegetables, like I said, like I do cauliflower, broccoli. I don't recommend doing that if your dog has digestive problems, because that's like really hard to digest. But yeah, and then this is what I keep my oats in. I got this for Christmas. But I do 4 cups of oats per 2 pounds of meat. So I found out that like that's probably the best ratio for her personally. I used to do like 2 cups to 2 pounds, but it like didn't seem like enough food for her, so just you have to experiment basically. Well, my meat has like no more red in it. It's a little pink, but it's okay because it's basically going to keep cooking. I'm going to add my pumpkin. Okay. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to turn the heat down just a tad bit. Now on like medium low. I'm going to mix in the pumpkin. I'm going to pick some baby food. Maybe 2 of these. It's like sweet potato mixed with the blueberry pear. And now usually when I don't have time to like let this cool for a long time, I throw these in last just to bring down the temperature. So since I do need to feed her the rest of her breakfast, I'm going to wait to add the frozen vegetables last. And what works best for me with all of the frozen stuff that I use, I only do 4 cups of water for 4 cups of oats. So like a cup of water per cup of oats. If you do more water, it's like so runny. So yeah, 4 cups of water. If you're using fresh vegetables and stuff that like doesn't hold a lot of water, you can probably get away with doing like the normal, which I think is like 1.5 or like 2 to 1 for the ratio. But yeah, that's just what I do. Okay, 4 cups of water. One, 2, 3. Okay, now what I've noticed is that once you add the oats, it will burn on you. So I like to turn it down to like medium low, and you get it all incorporated. And you gotta let it simmer so that the oats cook. I've tried to use quick oats. These are old-fashioned oats. I don't like quick oats. I like the old-fashioned better. Like, if you use quick oats, I don't know the correct amount of water to do yet. It just turns out super runny. It's not good. This is what it looks like right now. Yes, it's super runny, but that's because the oats have not cooked yet. It's gonna put a lid on it and let it simmer for like a good 5 minutes, and then we're going to stir it every minute just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. Daily dose of calcium in the morning, cottage cheese, all of her food will fit into this, which is 3.7 liters. And then in the afternoon, her vet told us to give her this Fortiflora Purina Pro Plan supplement. This is what we gave her when she had the digestive problems. and basically we're trying to rebuild her gut health. So I give her 1 packet of these per day, once at night. We're gonna give it a stir. Halfway cooked, I'm probably gonna add in my frozen vegetables, mix them in really good, try and cover them so that they heat up in time, and kind of also simultaneously cool down. It's getting thicker. It's not super runny anymore. By the time it's fully done and it has time to like set up, it'll basically be the consistency of like a wet canned dog food. I'm gonna let it cook for an additional 2 minutes, and then I'm going to add in the veggies, turn it off, leave it on the burner while the burner's off, and let it kind of like cool down but simultaneously heat up the veggies. And then by the time it's like about room temperature, I'll feed it to her just so she doesn't burn her mouth off. Okay, it's been another 2 minutes. I'm turning it off. I'm gonna give it a nice stir. As you can tell, it's starting to stick, so it's probably good I turned it off by now. My green beans, my root blend, since I did all of these root vegetables have a higher like sugar content. I'm gonna skip the apple this time, just so I don't give her like too much natural sugar, you know? Yummy. You know what, and honestly, it smells pretty good because everything here is like human grade food. The only thing that I do not like is some of the ground deer we put heart and liver in, and it does not smell very good when it cooks. So, but yeah, once you add all the vegetables and like the baby food and the pumpkin, even the oats, it smells pretty good. Usually I have help doing this part, but you know what? I am a strong, independent woman. I can do this. So it's just really heavy. Ooh. Okay. Got some on the counter, but that's okay. No biggie. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that's the wind outside. It's currently knocking over my trash cans every 15 minutes, so that's fun. Also, let me show you guys her new water fountain. My mom got her this really bougie water fountain. This is what it looks like. It's got like a little filter system in there, but it needs more water, so. That's how you make homemade dog food. Yummy. And then one more thing I wanted to talk about. When Bindi was a puppy, I used this slow feeder bowl, just with like her dry kibble, because she was like, acts like I never fed her. Like she would wolf it down and then she'd kind of like do that reverse sneezing, like almost choking thing. Scared the crap out of me. So I got her a slow feeding bowl. Then once she got a little bit older, she didn't need it as much. I could like feed her and she would take her time. I was still feeding her the same dry kibble, same brand, like I said, it was Jinx. And ever since I started feeding her homemade food, she wolfs it down. So now I'm back to using the slow feeder. I got this one like off of Temu or Amazon or something really cheap. But yeah, this is what I put all her food in, and it takes her at least 3 minutes to eat. But yeah, like I said, I think Jinx changed their like recipe or something, and she kind of just like didn't like it anymore, which is why she didn't love it like she used to, and she had to use this. But yeah, so this is how I feed her. I'm gonna to put some of her food in here to let it cool off a little bit. And usually while I'm making her food, she's like in here begging for me to like drop some. But she's curled up with my mom sleeping, so yeah. Cottage cheese that I buy, just like small fat for minimum milk fat, 4% milk fat minimum, generic cottage cheese. This thing lasts about, I'd say like 2 weeks, because I only feed it to her like once a day, and honestly I'm just gonna give her the rest. So she gets like a big dollop, but like I said, I have to spread it around. Licking the spoon. Oh, are you hungry? Come on. Why aren't you doing it? She usually dances and everything. I think it's because she just woke up. I need you to sit. Good girl. I don't know why she's so far back, but okay. I'll show you guys what it's like when I feed her dinner tonight too. And then this is how we keep track. So, okay. I think she's scared of the camera. Is that yummy? Did you like your food? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to bed. Bye.